Students are too young to remember where they were when the 9/11 attacks happened. In fact, some of them weren't even born. So how do we teach them about how our lives and theirs changed in the days, weeks, and months that have followed? Well, we're inside of Plymouth Canton schools to find out. Inside the walls of East Middle, school is in session. While teachers are experts at math, science, history, and all things textbook, sometimes it's what's happening outside of the classroom that is most difficult to explain.
If we can't show them how to have this difficult conversation, then where else are they going to learn it?
These students probably don't remember a world when the Twin Towers were standing. Most of them hadn't even spoken their first word when America watched its security get ripped away. Since that fateful day nearly 10 years ago, Americans have come together yet grown apart. We understand races better, yet let our differences isolate us. Try putting that into a lesson plan.
We're talking with teachers about being okay with a little bit of discomfort and saying, like, yes, these are really sensitive issues, but you do students a disservice when you pretend that they don't exist at all.
Librarian Rachel Goldberg is helping teachers put together this year's plans as they try explaining one of the country's darkest days. She says online links are helpful, but ultimately the conversation needs to be led by students. Although that comes with some caveats.
Making sure that you've set the stage for a space that is safe and free of any sort of racism, of hatred, of prejudice, and being okay with students, using phrases that they hear on the news and asking about them.
While those lessons might be easier to explain to a sixth grader, it's a much different discussion at nearby Farrand Elementary.
So this morning, I would like to take a moment of silence in honor of our victims and our families.
10 years ago, Troy Reel was a principal at a school district in West Michigan. He watched the Twin Towers crumble while sitting in an elementary classroom with students.
It was actually a very shocking, tough time because we weren't sure how to explain it to the students. We weren't sure what was taking place.
Why it happened and what followed might be a little much for these innocent faces, but there are lessons to be learned at every age.
And I know many of you may not have even been born at the time, or maybe you were just born, but it was a time in our nation that we had a lot of struggling going on and a lot of answers that we were trying to figure out what was happening.
He leaves most of the tough questions up to parents to answer, but makes sure that students know what the red, white, and blue stand for.
And I hope that every day when you see this flag flying somewhere, you will think about the families impacted on 9/11.
And as each year passes, though it isn't in the textbooks, these educators are helping to write history with each student they teach. From Plymouth, Smita Kloki, Channel 7 Action News.